What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. Individual mechanics are, to me, one of the most interesting aspects of gameplay in League of Legends. A lot of the time the specific nuances go underappreciated, and for me personally they show off some really cool aspects of the game, as well as potentially giving you some advantages in-game once you fully understand them. I plan to examine some of these mechanics in depth so that you can make the most of them, and our first mechanic to kick off this series today will be an in-depth look at hitboxes. As well, I've teamed up with ProGuides.com for the editing on this video. If you're interested in more traditional guides, they have a free trial that gets you full access, so you can check them out and decide for yourself if you like it or not. As well, here are some of my favorite comments where I asked what you guys enjoyed playing the most. Today's question is going to be a fun one because I want to know, what's your favorite cereal? Mine is Frosted Flakes, and if you think the video is great, then hit that like button, and if you don't, please hit the dislike. Anyways, let's get started. So first of all, what is a hitbox? A hitbox is what is used to measure whether or not something hits a target. They're kind of like invisible zones around your character model that trigger when hit by something. In a game like League of Legends, everything that can hit or be hit by something has a hitbox. So every character and every skill shot in the game has a hitbox, and those hitboxes are used to decide whether or not any given ability or thing hits a target. This mostly applies to skill shots, of course, since targeted abilities will hit regardless once you click them. In League of Legends, hitboxes are circular, and every unit is surrounded by a circular hitbox that detects when it hits or gets hit by something. For champions, there are 3 different sizes of hitboxes that exist: small, medium, and large. Someone like Annie has a pretty small hitbox, while someone like Ashe has a medium-sized hitbox, and a champion like Cho'Gath has a large hitbox. Every champion falls into one of those 3 categories of hitboxes, while minions tend to have their own hitboxes which are smaller than that of a champion. However, since hitboxes happen to be in the shape of a circle, maybe an oval, this can lead to a lot of misleading visuals, since most champions aren't shaped like a circle, meaning that all hitboxes extend a little bit past the actual visual model, especially on the corners. Depending on the geometry of a champion, there will always be visual peaks and valleys that extend past or fall short of the hitbox. In addition, visuals in League are 3-dimensional, but the actual hitboxes are functionally 2-dimensional. Because of this, character models will tend to appear above or north of their hitbox, meaning that abilities that appear to hit the very top of a model are actually kind of going behind them in a way, since the hitbox ended. This is a great way to sneak in some skill shot dodges, since the hitbox at that location is consistently misleading. And as well, a character's feet, or like the bottom area of a character, are much more prone to generous hitboxes because of the 2D thing. And because of this, when aiming your skill shots, it's really good to look at a character's feet instead of their actual body to get a better idea of where to aim, since you will always hit a skill shot if you hit a character's feet. And the same idea goes for abilities. Skill shots have a circular-esque kind of hitbox, and with skill shots, unit collision is measured edge to edge, which means to land the skill shot, the edge of your ability's hitbox has to touch the edge of the enemy champion's hitbox. However, since most skill shots aren't perfect circles or ovals either visually, the visuals may not match the hitbox as closely as you'd expect. Since the hitboxes aren't identical to the visuals, you can use this to your advantage quite a bit. Since they are measured edge to edge, you can land them without really landing them. Take a look at the following example, Blitzcrank's hook. Remember that his hook launches from his right hand, so if you position it properly, you can land the hook, while to your opponent, it really looks like they dodged it. As long as the edge of the hitbox on your hook contacts the enemy champion's hitbox without connecting with any minion hitboxes along the way, it's going to land, even if visually the hook doesn't look like it grabbed the champion. And you can use this kind of aiming to land a lot of skill shots on people who really aren't paying attention or are expecting their character to dodge, which is great because not only do you land the skill shot, it often upsets them even further since they're left feeling like they kind of got cheated, when in reality, they didn't understand hitboxes like you do. Different skill shots have different hitboxes though, so you'll need a little bit of an understanding for each individual character you're playing, but it's a great thing to think about with your aim to land more skill shots or to maybe dodge more of your opponents. This is one way that the pros fully master their champions to a level that casual players kind of don't, and it's part of why you see so many crazy plays from people in high elo. You can also use this concept to shoot skill shots past or through minions unexpectedly. Minions have a pretty small hitbox, and there's a lot of situations in lane where you can angle things to go around the minion by overcompensating a little bit on one side or shooting it past the edge, and this especially goes back to the 2D versus 3D thing that I mentioned previously towards the beginning of the video. Now finally, one of the more interesting things that I like to think about is how skins can have an impact on this. Now skins obviously don't change hitboxes in any way, but they do affect the size of visuals or the geometry of your champion model, and can make your skill shot or character appear like it has a smaller or a larger hitbox depending on the skin, which can further add to or take away from that concept that I just went over. If a skin has an ability that has a much smaller visual, it's going to surprise people a lot when you land it edge to edge, since the visual is just straight up misleading. In addition, a character with a larger model or with protrusions might be able to dodge some skill shots simply because the edge extended beyond their true hitbox. Players who have been playing for hundreds or thousands of games can get pretty used to certain ability effects, so changing up the visuals might allow you to take someone by surprise. And that's just about it. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about hitboxes. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.